in the past 6 decades, especially after the 18th CPC National Congress. Always upholding the leadership of the CPC has provided fundamental guarantee for our enduring stability and high-quality development. Since the peaceful liberation of Xizang, all central leadership has attached great importance to Xizang-related work. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has always considered the respect and protection of human rights as an item on the top of the agenda of the governance of China. All undertakings in Xizang thus have gained high-quality development. The CPC Committee and government of the autonomous region has firmly followed the guiding principles of 2 establishes and 2 upholds, implementing the significant instructions on Xizang-related work made by General Secretary Xi Jinping and the party's guidelines for governing Xizang in the new era, focusing on the 4 priorities: maintaining stability, facilitating development, protecting the eco-environment, safeguarding the borders. We unite and lead people from all ethnic groups in building a national model region for ethnic solidarity and progress, and a pilot region for high-quality development of plateau economy, a national model in advancing eco-civilization, and a demonstration region for safeguarding, developing, and bringing prosperity to border areas, and thus raising the sense of fulfilling happiness and the security of people from all ethnic groups. We have upholding the people-centered development philosophy, earning historical achievements in ensuring the rights to subsistence and development of people from all ethnic groups. Absolute poverty has been eradicated, with 74 impoverished counties or districts and 628,000 registered impoverished residents lifted out of poverty. People's living standard has been largely improved. Xizang's GDP rose from 17.103 billion RMB yuan in 2012 to 276.494 billion yuan in 2024. Urban and rural per capita disposable income rose from 18,028 yuan and 5,719 yuan in 2012 to 55,444 yuan and 21,578 yuan respectively, with the growth rate ranking among the top in the country. Rights to life and health has been guaranteed. Xizang's population has grown to 3.7 million. Life expectancy has been obviously improved. Number of beds in medical institutions, medical professionals, and practicing doctors per 1,000 people has increased to 5.9, 8.05, and 3.34 respectively. The rights of specific groups have been protected. Maternal and infant mortality has been reduced to 38.63 in 100,000 and 5.37 in 1,000 respectively. 128 elderly care institutions have been established. 12,971 elderly people are supported. 97.15% of school-age children with disabilities are covered by compulsory education. 21,010 certified people with disabilities are employed. We have always upheld the general principles of 3 endowments and 1 benefits, namely all reform and development shall be endowed with significance of ethnic unity and progress, improvement of people's living standard, and anti-secessionism, and shall benefit the raising of people's sense of fulfillment, happiness, and security. realizing all-round progress in the protection of economic, social, and cultural rights. Infrastructures have improved. The Fuxing EMU trains run through the snowy plateau. Lhasa-Shikaze Highway has been fully put into use. Through the Sichuan-Xizang section of G318 Expressway, a supercharger green corridor has been built. 169 airlines have been opened. 4 power grids have been put into operation. Water security has been acquired in all rural areas. Education development has been prioritized. A 15-year public education system from kindergarten to high school has been established. Sport undertakings are booming. Per capita sport venue areas reached 1.95 square meters. In 2024, athletes from Xizang won 55 gold medals, 44 silver medals, and 66 bronze medals in domestic and international events, which is the best in history. Public cultural initiatives bring benefits to the people. All 5,492 administrative villages and communities in Xizang are served by cultural performance teams. Best elements of traditional culture are effectively inherited, protected, and utilized. The learning and use of Tibetan language is protected by national laws. We have always held protecting the eco-environment of Qinghai Tibet Plateau as a priority that benefits the future generations and all regions beyond the local one. Realizing carbon neutrality on the whole Qinghai Tibet Plateau, mountains, waters, forests, farmlands, lakes, grasslands, deserts and glaciers are protected and regulated in an integrated and holistic manner. Regulations on building national model in advancing eco-civilization have been formulated. More than half of the land is conserved by the ecosystem protection red lines. The area of natural reserves account for 36% of the region's total area. The share of days of excellent and good air quality in key cities and towns exceeded 99%. Green and low-carbon development brings new growth engine and unleashes new dividends. Installed power capacity reached 9.52 million kilowatts. Generated capacity of clean energy reached 19.04 billion kilowatt hours. People from all ethnic groups voluntarily safeguard the lucid waters and green mountains, directly benefited from a good eco-environment. We have always strengthened the keen sense of identity of the Chinese nation, achieving whole process development of political and civil rights. People's status as masters of the country has been sufficiently realized. People from all ethnic groups in Xizang fully exercise all rights entitled by the Constitution and laws. Deputies from ethnic minority groups accounted for 68 in Xizang delegation to the 14th NPC. Among 4 levels People's Congress deputies in the whole autonomous region, 89.2% are from ethnic minority groups. Freedom of religious belief is guaranteed by law. All religions and denominations are equal, and all people, whether religious believers or not, are treated the same. Believers' legitimate religious needs are fully met. Registered monks and nuns are all covered by Social Security and health checkup. Equality and unity among all ethnic groups have been further enhanced. Regulations and plannings on model areas for ethnic unity and progress have been formulated and implemented. 7 prefectures or cities, 30 counties or districts, and 54 institutions are identified as national model for ethnic unity and progress. We firmly safeguard national sovereignty, security, and development benefits. adopting a proactive approach to combat secessionism, enhancing and making innovation in social governance, and promoting the rule of law and safety. The sense of security and satisfaction of all ethnic groups in Xizang rank among the top in the country. After the 6.8 magnitude earthquake occurred in Jingri County, thanks to the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and the assistance of people of the whole country, we were immediately able to provide warm tents and shelters, hot food, and butter tea to the affected people, and thus their human rights were guaranteed. We will always make further efforts to protect human rights. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, and the warm support of our socialist motherland, we will meet the new expectation to happy life of all ethnic groups in Xizang and make concerted efforts to add new chapters to human rights protection. Today, taking this opportunity, on behalf of the CPC Committee and Government of Xizang Autonomous Region, I hereby invite all friends to visit Xizang to enjoy the natural and cultural charm of Xizang and to feel Xizang's prosperity with socialist modernization. Wish you health and all the best to all of you. This is the end of my remarks. Thank you.
Now we are open to questions. Before raising your questions, please introduce your institution. In the second row, those who raised their hand, please pass the mic. Thank you. I'm from CCTV. Over the past more than 17 years since the peaceful liberation of Xizang, especially since the new era, remarkable progress has been made in human rights. Could you share some of the best practices of human rights protection developed in this process? This question goes to Mr. Wang Haizhou, please. For your question to the friend from the CCTV for your interest. Since the new era, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, Xizang has resolved many tough problems that were long on the agenda but never solved, and accomplished the many things that were wanted but never got done. The human rights undertaking has seen comprehensive progress and historic achievements, fully proving the practical value of General Secretary Xi Jinping's important theories on respecting and protecting human rights. In advancing work in various fields, we have summarized experience in the following 6 aspects. First, upholding the leadership of the CPC. The CPC has always been a political party that respects and safeguards human rights, attaching great importance to the development of the human rights in Xizang. The party has taken practical and effective measures to coordinate and enhance the development of various rights, promoting people's well-rounded development and shared prosperity among all ethnic groups in Xizang. As a result, we have ushered in profound changes often described as advancing 1,000 years in just a few decades. Today, Xizang has fully proved compellingly that without the CPC, there would not be the new China and the new Xizang. Only by upholding this leadership can the people of Xizang become and remain masters of their own affairs. Can their fundamental interests be safeguarded and advanced? Sing a folk song to the party, liberated Xizang serfs in the Emancipation, Heavenly Road, and many other well-known, widely admired songs vividly reflect the heartfelt gratitude and support for the party among people of all ethnic groups in Xizang. Second, respecting and ensuring the principal status of the people. For the people is the distinguishing feature of the Chinese path of human rights protection. By taking a people-centered approach to human rights, the CPC and the Chinese government have boosted local people's enthusiasm, initiative, and creativity, and have enabled them to become the dominant participants in, contributors to, and beneficiaries of human rights progress in the region. In the just concluded two sessions, the 25 NPC deputies from Xizang and the 29 deputies who are residents in Xizang have shared their wisdom and contributed their suggestions on the two sessions about many aspects relevant to the development of Xizang. Third, basing our work on Xizang's realities, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to the development of human rights. The one that is the best is the one that suits ourselves. Based on the real conditions in the region, the CPC and Chinese government have adopted a development model with Chinese characteristics that respects Xizang's regional features and fulfill four main tasks in the region: ensuring stability, facilitating development, protecting the eco-environment, strengthening the borders. This gives all people in Xizang a greater sense of gain, fulfillment, and security. Fourth, focusing on basic human rights, primarily the rights to subsistence and development. Subsistence is the foundation of all human rights, and living a life of contentment is the ultimate human right. We prioritize protecting the rights of the people of Xizang to subsistence and realizing their rights to development, and focus on addressing the most pressing and immediate issues that concern the local people the most, so as to achieve higher quality development. Fifth, protecting human rights through maintaining security. We consider that countering separatist activities and preserving national security are essential to the people's well-being. This approach has ensured sustained and steady social development for Xizang and stable and secure border areas. A safe and stable environment creates favorable conditions and serves as a solid foundation for the development of human rights in the region. Sixth, protecting human rights in accordance with the law. The rule of law is the most effective guarantee for human rights. By upholding law-based governance, the autonomous region ensures that the authority of the Constitution and the law is maintained, dedicated on the principle that everyone is equal before the law. We have strengthened human rights protection throughout the process of legislation, law enforcement, judicature, and the observance of the law as part of our efforts to provide legal protection for human rights and defend social fairness and justice in the region. Thank you. Now the floor continues to open. The third row in the middle. Thank you. I'm from the China News Service. On this trip to Xizang, I saw Lhasa's prosperity and beautiful scenery, but I also felt the effects of high altitude and low air pressure. For those who live in Xizang for long periods, these natural conditions can indeed affect their health. So what measures has Xizang taken to protect the health of its people? The question goes to Vice Chairman, Mr. Xu Zhitao. Thank you for your question. As this media friend has noted, Xizang has a high altitude and is prone to lead to some chronic diseases or high altitude diseases that affect our health. The Central Party Committee has attached a great importance to it. In relevant documents, constructing a National High Plateau Medical Center and a National Plateau Disease Center are mentioned repetitively. At a very important meeting, President Xi Jinping also mentioned that we need to develop and promote new medical and healthcare devices and technologies suitable for high-altitude areas. We have done the following work to implement the central instructions. First, we strengthen planning in response to the issues like outdated clinical practices, the hazardous impact of high-altitude conditions, and unbalanced dietary structures. We have implemented and issued the 8 actions with concrete measures, speeding up efforts to build a healthy Xizang. Second, we balance the distribution of medical resources. Xizang has only advantageous geographic conditions and has a low population density, and we have a 5-level medical network. For over 400 major diseases, it can be treated within the autonomous region. More than 2,400 types of moderate illnesses can be treated within the local prefecture or city, and most minor ailments can be addressed at the township and sub-district level. And we also leverage smart healthcare solutions and Internet plus healthcare to promote telemedicine in all public medical institutions at or above the township level. We also to provide better guarantee in our medical devices. Since 2015, 203 hospitals from 17 paired provinces and cities have dispatched over 2,000 experts to support medical institutions at all levels in Xizang, training local healthcare professionals and significantly raising the level of medical services across the region. Under the support of the government, we have developed medical technologies suitable for high-altitude environments. And we have established the National Center for Traditional Chinese Medicine, Manning Xizang Medicine, and a National Plateau Disease Medical Center. In 2015, in 2025, funding for each resident's health checkup will rise to 164 yuan, and full coverage of health checkups will be achieved. And we also issued the dietary guidelines for residents of high-altitude areas. Since the peaceful liberation, the population has grown from about 1 million to 3.7 million, while maternal mortality, infant mortality, and life expectancy have all reached their best levels in history. Thank you. We have many international friends here. So, in the middle, in the 3rd row. Thank you.
你好, Mahdi Faraj from Rudao Media Network. I have a question. What measures have been taken to preserve Tibetan cultural identity and language while promoting economic development in this beautiful region?
请翻译一下。伊拉克儒道媒体集团，我的问题是，在促进该地区经济发展的同时，采取了哪些措施来保护西藏的文化特征和语言？
这个问题我们请
The question
海州同志回答。
goes to Mr. Wang Haizhou.
谢谢这位记者的对这个
Thank
问题的
you
关注。
for your question and for your
西藏文化
interest.
呢是中华
The
文化的
Xizang culture is an integral part
始
of
终坚持
Chinese
推
culture.
进一系列有
We
利于民
have
主地区
adopted
文化
a series of
保护和
measures
发展
to preserve
方
and
针政
promote
策
the development
特
of
别
the
是党的
local
18大以
culture,
来，
especially since the
我们西
18th
藏的
CPC
优质传统
Congress.
文化得到了
The
全社
excellent
会
traditional
的
culture
保护
in
和
Xizang
传承
have been
一
carried
是我们
forward.
非遗的非物质文化遗产的保护传承
First of all
独有
is the intangible cultural
中央
heritage
和
has
自
been
区财政
preserved.
投入了大量的
And
资
the
金
autonomous
在
region
坚
has
持西藏的
invested
非
a
遗
lot
保
of
持和
money
发展
in preserving
我们
the
现在
IHC.
有
Now
格萨尔史诗、
we have
藏
Gesar
戏和藏有语法
EPIC,
3个项目列入
and we also have projects like the Tibetan medicine, and we also have many representative
现在我
works
们呢有
of the
各级各
Xizang
类代表
culture.
性的飞行项目
And we have
2800项，
2,800 IHC projects and 1,668 inheritors of IHC. You know, we only have about 3.6 million
二是
local
我们的文物
residents.
保护利用发展全面的加强，
So we have strengthened our work in all areas.
实施了
We have invested a large amount of money in the maintenance of the temples of like the
维修工程，
Plateau Palace and
计
the
划用10
maintenance
年的
of the
时间
local tourist
投资3亿
destination.
元实施
In the
布拉拉
next
宫
dec-
古迹文献，
In the next
列入
decade,
在文物保
we
护
will
当中。
invest 300 million yuan in the maintenance and
目前我们
preservation
除
of
了刚才
classics
讲
of
到的世界
of
遗
the
的非
Plateau
物质文化遗建
Palace.
30
Besides
处
the
还有
IHC
全国重
preservation,
点文物保护单位70处。
we have 70 key institutes for the protection of the IHC and
当前呢，我们是按
660
照国家的统
regional
一安排
level
正在
institute
进
for
行
IHC
第4
protection.
次文物
According to national arrangement, we are conducting the 4th round of
对我们文物
sensors on the protection of IHC. Following that, we will continue
我
to
们
improve
党
our
国家
work. The party and the
政
country
府都高度的重视
and the
依法保
governments
护
attach
藏语言
great
文字的传
importance
承和发
to
展。
the preserve
正如大家要注
of
意的话，
the
都可以看到
Tibetan language based
在
on
我
the
们这里
law. As you
公
can
共
see,
场所
in public
招牌
places,
和广告
in
同时使用
signages and in advertisements, you can find both standard Chinese and Tibetan
我们
language.
大家今天手里面拿到的，
Also, in your hands, we have
既有国通语的，也有
we have
藏
a
语。
Putonghua version.
同时，我们今天的
We
发布
also
会呢
have a
同时
Tibetan
使用
language
中
version,
藏有
and
3
today's
种
press
语言
conference is released in Chinese, Tibetan language, and
目
English.
前我们做到了藏
Now
语
in
文
Xizang,
广播有声
in
音，
radio broadcast, film and
影视
television visuals,
有图像，
internet
网
sections,
络有板块，报刊有内
newspapers
容，
and journals,
教学有课本，
textbooks,
出版。
and the publishing market. The Tibetan language
藏
is
文呢
found
也
in all these
成为我国
places,
第一
and
个
the Tibetan language
具有
has
国际
become
标准的
China's
少数民
first
族文字。
minority ethnic group language that has the
可以说我们
international standard.
藏语文的
It is fair to say
学习使
that
用
the learning and
从没有
use
达
of
到我们
Tibetan
所
language
今天这样
have never
普及
been
的程度。
as widespread as they are
谢
today.
谢。
Thank you.
继续提问。
Let's continue
好，第一排吧。
in the first row.
对。
人民日报记者提问：
From
保障
People's
知情
Daily,
权和参与权是实现全过程人民民主的
protecting the
一环
rights
之一。
to be informed
请
and
问西藏在
participate is
保证
essential
各族
to
人民的
whole
知情权
process
和参与
people,
权方面做
people's
了哪些具体工作？
democracy.
谢
So
谢。
what practical measures has
这个
Xizang
问题呢
taken?
由我来回答。
I will take this question.
首先呢，非
First
常
of all,
感谢
I would like
这位
to
记者提问
thank you for raising this
我把我
question.
们多年来
So I will
在这
share
方
with
面
you our experience
做的事情
accumulated
向
in the past
您
years and
各位
also
记者
our work in the
做一个介
past
绍
years. A very brief
我
introduction.
国是人民
China
当家作主
is
的
a socialist country run by the people.
人民是
People
国家的主
are
人。
the masters of the country.
那么在西藏，
This is true
在这点上，
in both other places of China and in
人
Xizang.
民群众要实现做主，
To maintain the
就要
principal
了解
status of the
参与
people, they need to
家
be
中的
informed
大事
about and
小事
participate in all matters, big or
因此
small.
呢，我
So
们西藏大力
Xizang
发展
is
全
vigorously
过程，人民
developing
民
whole
主，
process people's
充
democracy,
分的保障各族人
fully
民的知
ensuring
情权。
the rights of
和
peoples
参与
of
权，
all ethnic groups to be
确保
informed
党和
and
政府
participate in,
在决策、
and
执
in the
行、
decision
监
making,
督
implementation,
各个
oversight
环节
of the party and the
都能听到
central government, and in all
人民的
links, people's
声音。
voices can be heard.
我呢从3个方面
I would like to share
做个介绍。
our work from 3 aspects.
我们
First,
讲大事小事
matters big or
能
small
知晓，
are informed.
政务信息公开呢
The
是
transparency
保障
of
公民
government
知情权
information is essential
表达
to
权。
people's
和
rights to
监
be
督权
informed,
的
participate,
重要前提。
expression, and oversight.
西藏各级政府围绕社会
Docu-
关切、
Documents of public concern are published via government websites, social media platforms, government gazettes, and other channels by governments at all levels. All legally required information for voluntary disclosure is accessible for the public. In 2019, the People's Government of the Xizang Autonomous Region issued the measures of the Xizang Autonomous Region on transparency in village affairs. Village committees are required to fully disclose village information via transparency bulletin boards and at villagers' representative meetings, as well as via online platforms, broadcasting services, text messages, WeChat transparency cards, and other channels. Besides, we say matters big or small welcome people's participation. The working methods for deputies to People's Congresses to reach out to the public have also been improved. Deputies at various levels are encouraged to maintain close contact with voters and to listen to their voices on issues that matter to them. From the legislation to the formulation of plans, to garbage sorting and even real estate management, people can truly participate in these big or small matters. In the meantime, systems for villagers' representative meetings, urban community residents' congresses, and employees' congresses have been improved. And the mechanisms for grassroots elections, deliberations, information disclosure, work reporting, accountability, and other affairs have also been improved to make primary-level democracy more extensive and effective. Third, we say that matters, big or small, must be resolved. The CPPCC at all levels in Xizang have upheld the integration of party leadership, the united front, and consultative leadership to encourage more extensive participation in and administration of state affairs by people from all ethnic groups and all walks of life to resolve the pressing difficulties and problems that concern them most. There are 29 members of the CPPCC National Committee who are residents of Xizang, 93.1% of whom are from ethnic minority groups. There are 429 members on the 12th CPPCC National Committee of the Xizang Autonomous Region, of whom 59.91% of whom are not CPC members. CPPCC organizations between 2013 and 2013, the CPPCC Committee of the Xizang Autonomous Region received a total of 5,095 proposals. 4,920 were accepted and filed, and the rest were given a formal response or reply. Thank you.
Now we continue to take questions. Third row, please. Thank you. I'm from CNN. Well, just now, Chairman Ge mentioned that overseas, in some Xizang people gathered areas, there are some students in Xizang that are recruited or enrolled in boarding schools in other regions where they are taught in Chinese or Putonghua or Chinese languages. Well, we saw that several spokespersons or people are saying that this is a way to so-called localize the people in Xizang, and this might result in the loss of their own culture and language. Well, so my question is, do you have any numbers or statistics that you could share with us that how many of those school-age children that are enrolled in such boarding schools, and are they taught or do they have any opportunity to be taught in Tibetan language or the Chinese language? Of course, I welcome your response to such doubts and criticism as well. Thank you very much for this question, and I believe many of our journalists and reporters here are quite concerned with this issue. Now I would like to turn it over to Director General Wang. to Xu Zhitao to answer this question. Well, thank you for asking this question, and I believe this is an issue that many journalists and reporters are concerned about or are interested in. And last year, I answered a similar question in a press conference. Well, I would like to start with the local conditions here in Xizang. Well, the Xizang boarding schools are a type of school that is suitable for our local conditions. That we understand that Xizang region is a region with a vast territory and many students living in the agricultural or the pastoral regions have difficulties in attending schools and resulting in a suboptimal educational quality. Therefore, schools in this region are providing boarding education as an option to these students as stipulated in our laws and regulations. And secondly, as many of you are interested in, that the boarding school or the boarding education are chosen at the full discretion of the students themselves and their parents. And for students that are studying in such boarding schools, they can go back to their homes on weekends and also during the holidays. Therefore, their communication and ties with their families are smooth and not cut off. And you asked me to provide you with some numbers and statistics. Well, this is not a static one, but a dynamic one. It changes on a yearly basis, and also it's up to the discretion and the voluntary of the students and the parents. And because they're students, they could choose to take the boarding education that is living in the schools. At the same time, there are other students that in the same school, they could choose to go back home every day. And this is the same in other schools and where they're taught in Tibetan languages, and boarding school or boarding education is a commonly practiced educational system, not just in China but also other countries in the world. And this is an important measure to address the challenges where students might experience difficulties in getting enrolled in schools or in going to the schools. And with the efforts we made in past few decades, the boarding education and boarding schools have made sure that our students does not only have access to education but have access to good quality education. Students in schools now could join different student clubs, and like the chairman mentioned, that many of those cultural intangible heritages are introduced into schools. At the same time, we are embarking and we are carrying out different types of courses to improve their psychological, mental, physical, as well as intellectual literacy. And this is a way, and this is a proof of advancement in human rights. Thank you. Now, we continue to take questions. The first row. Hello, I am with the Guangming Daily. Well, on this trip to Lhasa, I saw many Tibetan Buddhist temples and religious believers making pilgrimages and offering incense and prayer flags. I also learned that there are Islamic mosques in Lhasa as well. Could you please introduce how the Chinese government has safeguarded in Xizang the rights of people of different ethnic groups to freedom of religious beliefs? Thank you. I will ask Director General Wang to take this question. Thank you. I believe this is also an issue many of you are interested in. The Constitution of the People's Republic of China stipulated clearly that citizens of People's Republic of China shall enjoy freedom of religious belief, and the state shall protect normal religious activities. And Xizang has adhered to the requirement in the Constitution and has been implementing the national policy of respecting and protecting the freedom of religious belief. Well, just like the reporter mentioned that here we have not just the Tibetan Buddhist temples, we have other religious venues such as Islamic mosques and Catholic churches. All such religious venues are protected by law. The traditions of learning scriptures and debating scriptures and their subsequent promotion in academic degrees are carried out here. The traditional learning and debating scripture system are seamlessly integrated with our modern education system of three-level title system. Currently in Xizang, 113 monks have earned the highest Torampa ranking in Tibetan Buddhism. And in the Xizang Tibetan Buddhism Institute and its 10 branches, over 3,000 monks are currently learning the scriptures. And on the basis of meeting the needs of religious believers, their religious beliefs are fully respected. And among the homes of our religious beliefs, you could find scripture rooms when you visit any of them, and religious and folk activities and festivals such as the Shorten Festival, Butterland Festival, Sagadawa Festival, walks around lakes and mountains are carried out on a yearly basis. And every year, like you see here in Lhasa, millions of religious believers will make pilgrimages to here to Lhasa. And we have been improving social security system for monks and nuns. Since the new era, Chinese government has invested in a unified renovation of temples and monasteries and in building and renovating the elder service facilities in temples and providing them with healthcare services and improving infrastructure. 98% of our temples and monasteries now have access to roads, telecommunication, electricity, water, TV. But of course, you might be wondering, what about the 2%? Well, there are still 2% temples that are in really remote areas, so we are still making efforts. At the same time, the government, on a yearly basis, providing different subsidies for monks and nuns, so they are fully covered with medical insurance, old age care, subsistence allowance, and accident insurance, as well as health checkups. So it is fair to say that their well-being and livelihood are greatly improved. And also, their demands and needs in learning and also in debating scriptures are guaranteed. Thank you. Now we continue to take questions. Second row. The male journalist. Thank you. I'm from the Japan GG Press. The Chinese government has introduced the policy of expanding inbound tourism. However, free travel is still not available in Xizang. What are the reasons? Will this restriction be relaxed in the future? Thank you. Well, I will ask Vice Chair Xu to take this question. Thank you. Thank you very much for this question. Xizang is an open Xizang, and we have always been welcoming the foreigners to visit Xizang, and also we have been welcoming reporters and journalists into Xizang. But at the same time, due to Xizang's special geographical and climatic conditions, the government has taken certain administrative measures for foreigners entering Xizang in accordance with our laws and regulations. And this is completely necessary. Well, in Xizang, especially this term of CPC committee and the people's government has attached great importance to our policy of opening wider, because we believe only an open region, an open society, will welcome a more developed society. Well, I am in charge of the culture and tourism here in Xizang. So in recent years, we have been introducing measures that are welcoming the tourists from different regions and countries to visit here, and not just for tourism, for trips, for traveling, but also to start their businesses. In 2024, the region has received that on a yearly basis 320,000 visits and that are traveling from outside of China. And I believe we will pick up the pace in tourism development. And in accordance with our local conditions, in terms of hospitality and local infrastructure, we will provide more and to facilitate their traveling here in Xizang. Thank you. We'll continue to take questions. Second row. Thank you very much. I'm from Phoenix TV. And concerning the environmental protection, apart from lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets in Xizang, there's also saying that ice and snow are also invaluable assets. So my question is, what achievements has Xizang realized in the protection of environmental rights? Well, I will take this question. This is also an important question. Previously, we mentioned that eco-environmental protection is one of the 4 major tasks of Xizang in the new era, and Xizang has been prioritizing eco-environmental conservation and keeping in mind the instruction of General Secretary Xi Jinping that protecting the Qinghai Xizang Plateau ecological environment is the biggest contribution that we could do to the survival and development of Chinese nation. And we have been adopting the strictest measures and improving our level of ecological governance. And now, this beautiful ecological environment has become a driver for the well-being of our people. At the same time, an impressive calling card of Xizang Autonomous Region. In the next few days, I believe you will see with your own eyes that the beautiful eco-environment here, as well as the beautiful views and sceneries here. And I will give you an overview of our eco-environment in the following 4 aspects. The first is the air in Xizang is now cleaner. We are making progress in building a brighter Xizang. Since 2016, the proportion of days with excellent or good air quality in Xizang has reached over 99%, and the air quality in main towns and cities have, on the whole, remained excellent or good. And the air quality in Mount Kumulama area has been rated as good or excellent, reaching the state grade 1 standards. And second is that our glaciers are stronger than ever, building a more enchanting crystal Xizang. The Xizang Autonomous Region issued the regulations on glacier protection here in Xizang Autonomous Region, providing institutional guarantee for glacier protection, ensuring ecological security, promoting economic sustainable development, and the harmonious coexistence between people and the nature. At the same time, Xizang has carried out a coordinated protection of glacier and its surrounding ecosystem, and so to realize the integrity of the Qinghai Xizang Plateau ecological protection. Our third aspect is that now we have better water quality with the lucid Xizang is inspired by many people. Beautiful lakes and rivers are unique views of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. And through our systemic protection and the conservation of the major rivers lakes and their sources, with 33 major rivers as a core. The health rate evaluation of our rivers and lakes have reached 100%, and the ecological flow in 99.96% in key rivers has met the criteria. Now, many travelers and tourists are coming to Xizang for these beautiful lakes. And fourthly, Xizang now is a more habitable and livable place. All 7 prefectures and cities in Xizang Autonomous Region has recognized as national eco-civilization demonstration zones, becoming the only province whose cities being recognized as such national level zones. The Lhasa Central Town area that we are currently at, through our ecological governance of the water system Phase 1 and the Phase 2 that are currently underway, our water view and landscape, as well as their quality, are improved, and our living environment and habitat are continuously being improved. And Lhasa has become an altitude city with a livable environment. Green development is the underlying tone of a high-quality development, and new quality productive forces are inherently green productive forces. The Xizang has been transforming lush mountains and lucid waters and ice and snow into invaluable assets, and so our people here in Xizang could benefit from it. But we always say that to see is to believe. So I cordially invite you to utilize your visit this time to Xizang to feel and to experience the ecological situation here in Xizang.
Let's continue to take the questions. The second row. Thank you. With Rosia, Sidonia International Information Agency. I would like to know about Russian tourists in Russia. What travel routes are favored by Russian tourists in the future? Will new routes emerge that are more appealing to Russian market? This question will be taken by Vice Chairman Xu. Thank you for your question. I've been to Russia, leading a delegation on the cultural circle of Xizang, and we really feel that the friendship between Russian people from Xizang and the interests of Russian people in traveling in Xizang. As far as we know, Russian tourists, as well as tourists from European and American countries, favor the Lhasa, Shikaze, and Chomolungma route. And apart from them, will continue their travel to Ngari. This route represents the most excellent parts of natural and cultural charm of Xizang. As I have mentioned, Xizang will be opened even broader to the whole world. From the perspective of the government, we are studying and exploring how to develop more traveling routes that are suitable for overseas tourists. And also, we are developing the direct airlines towards Xizang. And we are also developing more featured and high-end trains for tourists going to Xizang. I hope that in the future there will be more and more foreign
继续提
tourists
问。
choose Xizang as their destination.
先这边吧，第二排这位
Let's continue to take questions.
主持人好，凡人好，经济日报记者提问。
Hello,
近年来，国
I'm
家
from
在全
Economic
民性住
Daily.
房改善工作方
In
面
recent
多
years,
措并
the
举，
country
各族人民
has
群众
taken
纷纷
various
实现了从
initiatives
不
to
有
improve
损害
housing
不有地区的
conditions,
转变。
enabling
西藏地处高
people
原，人口
to
分散，
move
我们注意
from
到
merely
西藏
having
采用
shelter
一
to
针
truly
见的方式
enjoying
改善高原
comfortable
全
living
民住房
environments.
请介绍一下
Xizang,
一
located
般
on
性
the
工作的具体
plateau
内容
with
和
a
成
low
效。
population
谢谢。
density, have adopted a relocation
这个问题呢，
strategy
请
to
至少
enhance
同志
living standards. Could you please introduce the
刚才
specific and
这位
outcomes
记
of
者
this
提到
relocation work?
确
This
实啊，我
question
们
will
西
be
藏
taken by Vice
这
Chairman
个地广
Xu.
人稀，这个居住
As
啊比
you
较分散，
mentioned,
特别是一
some
些偏远地
places
方啊，
in
给老百姓带来
Xizang
了出门难、
has a low population
就医
density,
难、上学难、就
so
业难等
it
一
is
些现实的问题。
difficult for them
西藏
in
地区啊，
travel,
高度重视人
acquiring
民的
employment
居住权，
opportunities,
并且将居住
schooling
权
and healthcare.
与健康权、受教育权、环
Xizang's
境
party
权一并统
committees
筹考
and
虑。
governments attach great
特别
importance
是
to
从
people's right
2015
to
年
housing,
以来，
taking into account their
按照
rights
群
to
众自
health
愿、集
education
中安置
and
和
a
分散
sound
相结合
environment.
的
Since
原则，
2015,
在一些
adhering to
海拔
the
比较低、
principles of
适宜生产
voluntary
生活的地方呢，
participation with both
陆续建
centralized
成
and
了
dispersed
965
resettlement,
个
Xizang
异
has
地
built
扶贫搬迁点，
965
特别是国家
relocation
实施
sites
脱贫
in
攻坚
lower
战略以后，
altitude
西
regions.
藏各地政府下大力气
Following
解
the
决
launch
搬迁
of
群
the
众的
national poverty
就医、
alleviation
就
policy,
学、
governments
住房
at
等
all
问题，
levels in Xizang have devoted
并
considerable
开展
efforts
技
to
能培
addressing
训、
employment,
发放
healthcare,
生态补贴。
education, housing needs for relocated
正如
residents,
白皮书所提到，
and providing
2019
ecological
年
subsidies on an
西藏
annual
市区
basis, as well as
62.8
offering
万
job
贫困人
opportunities
口全部脱
and
贫，
skillings
其中
training.
有
By the end of
26.6
2019, all of
万
Xizang's
贫困人口呢是通过
628,000 impoverished
异地搬迁政
residents
策
have
来
been
实
lifted
现
out
脱
of
贫。
poverty. Among them,
异地搬迁解决了一方水土
266,000
养活
were
养不活
lifted
一方
out
人
of
的难题。
poverty with
也保护了生
relocation
态环境。
policies.
搬迁后啊，群众的
This
生活水平和
resettlement
质量
policy
都大
have
幅提升。我
improved
举个例子，
their
就是我
living
们
environment
西藏的
and
纳
standard. For
双
example,
湖县啊，这是
in
平均海拔5000
Shanhu
米以
County,
上，
this is
是
a
我
place
们中国
with
呀
an
海拔最
average
高的一个县。
elevation exceeding
自然条件呢比较
5,000
艰苦。
meters. It is
从
China's highest
2019
county.
年开始，陆陆
Since
续续啊有
2019,
1.4万双湖县的农牧民
about
搬迁到
14,000
了距离
herdsmen
拉萨
began moving
60公里、海拔只有
to
3600米的
Sembri,
森布日
located
就在雅江
at an
河边儿
altitude of
我们因地制宜分类施策，
3,600 meters
始终
and
把尊
roughly
重群众的意
60
愿
kilometers
作
from
为
Lhasa.
异地搬迁的首要条
And
件。
we respect the
目
willingness
前呀，这
of
个搬迁
the
已经
people.
有6年的时间了。
Now
森布日
the
的很多牧民啊，
resettlement
选
has
择呢
started
是
for
在森布日
6 years.
也有一部分牧民
Some
呢
herdsmen
选择
choose
呢
to
到了夏
stay
天的时
in
候啊，
Sembri,
还是返回
while
双湖县
others
去放牧，
choose to
冬天
return
呢
to their
再回
pastures
到
in
海
summer
拔比较低的
and
地方，
stay in the
生产生活
resettlement
条件比较好
community
的地
during
方来过
winter.
冬。那么作为迁出县的双湖县，这个
To
当地政府啊也组织了
facilitate this,
农牧业的合作社，
the local
由一
government
些留下来
organized
的牧
farming
民
and
以及医
pastoral
护人员
cooperatives
组成这个合
composed
作
of
社，
both herdsmen
定期轮
and
换，
professional staff,
负责照料
including
搬
healthcare
迁牧
professionals.
民留下来的牛羊，
These cooperatives operate in shifts to care for the livestocks left
参
behind.
与搬迁的群众对党和政府的安排
Generally
是表
speaking,
示认可的。
those who have relocated express
过
strong
好新
support
生活
for the
充满了
parties
信
and
心。
government's arrangements and are optimistic about
继续提问。
embracing a better life. Let's continue to take
第
questions.
3排，
The third row,
对您。
this section.
谢谢主持人，我是中国日报社记者。
Thank you. I'm with China Daily. In 1995, at the fourth World Women Conference held in Beijing, the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action were adopted. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the 1995 conference. Not long ago, the 69th session of the UN Commission on the Status of Women was held too. What measures has the Xizang Autonomous Region adopted to promote the protection of women's rights? This question will be taken by Director General Wang. Thank you for your interest in women's rights. Women's rights are fundamental human rights, and building a better life cannot be achieved without the comprehensive development of women's causes. The government of the region has formulated the plan for women's development in Xizang Autonomous Region 2021 to 2025, steadily strengthening the protection of women's rights. In terms of participation in deliberation on state affairs, women represent 36.6% of the region's delegates to the 20th CPC National Congress, 28% of its deputies to the 14th NPC, and 22.6% of its members of the 14th CPPCC National Committee. Among the delegates to the 10th Party Congress of the region, 32.4% are female. 30.6% of the deputies to the 12th People's Congress of the region are female, as are 28.1% of the members of the 12th CPPCC Xizang Autonomous Region Committee. Additionally, all administrative villages or urban communities in Xizang have female members in their party branches and the villages of residence committees. In the protection of women's rights to health, a preferential policy for the cost of hospitalization for childbirth has been implemented, granting pregnant women from farming and pastoral areas full reimbursement of medical expenses, as well as a one-time hospital delivery subsidy of RMB 1,000 yuan and a prenatal living allowance of RMB 300. Over the past 5 years, Xizang has provided more than RMB 200 million in hospital delivery subsidies to over 267,000 pregnant women from farming and pastoral areas. The hospital delivery rate in the region has risen from 75.8% in 2012 to 99.15% in 2023. In ensuring women's rights to education, before the democratic reform, the gender gap in compulsory education has largely been eliminated, especially since the establishment of Xizang Autonomous Region. The gap in compulsory education has been largely eliminated, and the proportion of female students in regular higher education, graduate education, and adult higher education are all above 50%. And we are proud to say that women's rights to education have been fully guaranteed. If you can notice that in many areas, almost all the jobs in Xizang Autonomous Region, you can see women workers and staff members. More and more women has become an important force contributing to the development of socialism in Xizang, and they hold half the sky in the beautiful Xizang. Let's continue to take questions. This is the last question. Thank you. I'm with Xinhua News Agency. According to my knowledge, employment is paramount to people's well-being. As I know, in 2024, the number of farmers and herdsmen in Xizang who shifted from non-agricultural employment reached 648,000, with a total labor income of 7.155 billion yuan. Could you please share what effective measures Xizang has taken to facilitate this transition for farmers and herdsmen? Thank you for your question. People's well-being is the greatest human right, and this shall be guaranteed by high-quality employment. Especially in Xizang, farmers and herds account for more than 60% of the population. The Party Central Committee has attached great importance to their employment. The CPC Committee and the government of Xizang Autonomous Region has always prioritized the employment of herdsmen and farmers in increasing their income. On the basis of fully respecting farmers and herdsmen's own willingness and in response to the needs for training and employment, the government and market entities work together to provide high-quality services for labor transfer. First, we adopt a unified employment and entrepreneurship registration system for urban and rural areas. All farmers and herdsmen are fully included in the urban employment registration, and free public employment services such as job placement, career guidance, and job-seeking registration are provided to them. And second, promote vocational skills training. Currently, any urban and rural worker in the autonomous region above the age of 16 who have the willingness to work or undergo training can receive skills training. When formulating training and employment plans, the government fully respects individual preferences. Trainees choose their own training programs, methods, and training institutions. Third, expand multiple pathways to absorb labor. Through the development of industries with local advantages and distinct characteristics, creating dedicated transfer employment bases for farmers and herdsmen, and leveraging government investment projects, Xizang offers diverse channels and methods to boost and accommodate farmers and herdsmen's transition to non-agricultural employment. Fourth, rely on local employment service stations. In each prefecture and city, employment services station coordinate with local labor and employment service agencies based on the preferences and skill levels of the surplus labor in farming and herds. These stations help arrange orderly and organized job placements. They proactively address farmers and herdsmen needs. So thank you. After today's press conference, you will have field visit. And for more questions, you can continue to understand during the field visit. This is the end of today's press conference. Thank you.